Seplos, 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 what are you doing? I actually wanted to do a totally different video today, but as per the current circumstances and situation here, I have to do another Seplos video and show you what's going on when I parallel these batteries here. And I'm sure this could be only a setting in one of the BMSes, but it also shows it is not as easy to parallel these batteries as it is with any other battery. So let me show you what's happening here. I have connected these two batteries here to our Powerwall 2.1 for a few days now. And it's charging from solar, as you have seen on the VRM every day. Everything is fine, but I'm probably checking the batteries once a day by turning on the display and see what's going on. And I could see the big drift between the state of charge of both batteries. See the small one here on the top at 33% state of charge, and the big one at the bottom at 54%. 54, right? To 33. And we are currently charging. It is sunny hot outside. You can see 1.5 amps going into the big battery and 0 going into the small one. Nothing. Not even one single milliamp goes into this battery. Confirm. So if we have a look at the cell voltages here, they are at 3.34 volts and we've got 3.31 volts here. So this one is actually a bit lower in the battery voltages. How can this be if they are in parallel, right? Well, I'll show you something else. We are at 53.2 volts and we are at 53.1 volts. How is this even possible if the batteries are in parallel? And you can see I've got both links in, positive, positive, negative, negative. Everything is paralleled out, but this one is not charging. So can be only a setting in this BMS here. And here comes the big problem. But first of all, welcome back to the off-grid garage here in sunny hot Australia. It is hot. We are expecting 39 today again. Let's have a look here. We've got 100 amps outside charging the vehicle. Washing machine is running. So got a few loads running here. And we've got 0 amps in the SPAT calibration center. 0 amps, right? 0. Because this one reports 0. It reports 0. This one reports 1.6 amps. Huh? Can you see what's going on? But remember, we've got different BMSes in here. This is a 48100 amp BMS, a 10C with CAN communication, and this is the new 4850 10E with Bluetooth functionality. They're both connected via RS485. Dip switches are set to 5 for the master and to 1 for the slave. And you've seen the video, we've done the full charge and discharge test, everything seemed to work fine, but here in real world scenario it's not working. The small battery is not charging for some reason, and I want to find out. And today I want to find out why. Why, Seplos, why? So, and this just describes the situation, right? This is just what it is at the moment, or what it was for the last couple of days. But now I want to talk about the real problem with this setup. Here you can actually see there's 1.4 amps coming into the solar charge controller from the solar panels, but there's nothing going in the battery. And well, quite frankly, there's nothing else connected. The inverter is not connected, there's no load connected, nothing. It's just the solar charge controllers and the batteries. Nothing else. But the BMS shows 0 amps. So obviously something is not right configured in the top battery, and that's why it doesn't charge as good as the bottom battery. So what would you do? Exactly, have a look at the configuration and see if you can find something. So let's take our LAN cable and plug this into one of the RS485 ports, either at the top or at the bottom. Let's take the bottom one. There's our blue cable connecting to the Seplos USB adapter into the computer. Nothing new here. Starting the battery monitor. COM5, 19,200 baud. Connect. Timeout. Okay, it's not connecting. I have forgotten to select pack 1 and pack 2. Connect. Okay, I have now successfully connected, but only to pack number 1, it looks like. This is only the 280 ampere hour battery. It doesn't show me the values of the other BMS. Only pack 01 shows up, 280 ampere hour. Only the big battery shows, but not the other one. Okay, let's turn off pack number 1, and pack number 2 is not showing. If I turn this one off as well, it's not showing. It is still pack 01. Turn this one back on. We are live. You can see the current going up and down. It doesn't show any other battery. Pack 2, nothing. Pack 0 maybe. No communication. Only pack 1 is working. And this is exactly the problem I had for the last 2 days when I tried to access the configuration of the BMS of the top battery. And what is going on actually? Why can't we access this battery, but we can access this one? At the moment, we have the battery configured to talk CAN bus to our Servo GX, right? That's why we have the dip switch number 5 set to on. There. But none of the first 4 dip switches are actually set. And we know from one of the previous videos where we have found out that the first 4 dip switches are kind of related to RS485, and the last 4 dip switches are responsible for the CAN communication. None of the first 4 switches is actually set, so this must be battery pack 0. And this is exactly what we found out. If we don't set any of these dip switches, it is pack 0. It is not pack 1, it is pack 0. So in theory there is a pack 0 available, but it's not communicating. Why not? Well, because dip switch number 5 is set and turns on the CAN communication. And this then turns off the RS485 communication to any external device. It still keeps the internal RS485 communication to the next battery pack, but not to our computer. Okay, so what if we plug this one into the top battery here, because we want to access the top battery. Okay, so I want to access pack 0, which has no dip switches set for the RS485 communication, so everything is deselected. Connect. Timeout, not working. Okay, pack number 1, connect. Working, but damn it, this is again the bottom battery, 280 ampere hours. I want to connect to the top battery. Maybe pack number 2. Connected, but there's only one battery showing up. Yeah, there. It connects only to battery pack 01. That's it. I was just looking for this email. Someone sent me an email probably 2 or 3 weeks ago about the same issue. Obviously, this is a design problem with Seplos, and you are not able to connect to the master battery. And I totally agree. I've got the same issue now as well. I cannot access the top battery configuration of the BMS anymore, because this combination of dip switches does not exist for the RS485 communication. So there's no way to access the master battery of your Seplos battery banks if you have more than one in parallel. One bank, totally fine. 2 banks or more, you cannot access the master battery anymore then. So what we can try is we can turn off CAN communication for a moment, take this dip switch down to 0, and now we have all zeros, and this is a valid configuration for RS485 again, because this is now our pack 0. While this one we can leave untouched, only dip switch 1 is on. So we've got pack 0 and pack 1. In theory, let's confirm this. So nothing selected, connect, and there we go. We are now connected to this small battery on the top, 135 ampere hour. We can see pack number 0 is now active, and this is our 135 ampere hour battery. So at least I am now able to go into the configuration of the BMS now and have a look why the BMS is not charging as it's supposed to be. And then if I want to do the same and go into the configuration of the big battery, I have to click on pack number 1 to select this pack, and then it jumps to the 280 amp hour battery at the bottom of our stack. And probably you can already see the problem with this design, because you have to change the dip switches all the time to get access to the configuration of the BMS, of the Master BMS. The other battery banks will be fine, but the Master is not accessible. So I would call this a major design flaw. But hey, wait, there's more. And because I have done this a couple of times now to get access to the configuration of this BMS here, I accidentally bumped one of the other dip switches and it was half set. And I guess it didn't make good contact anymore. So what happened here was I lost communication between the two batteries. And in the Victron system it showed me both batteries, but one was offline. And it took me over a day to find this problem. And this only happens because I have constantly set and reset the dip switches to test and see if I can get the communication up and running with our Master battery here. And now again, to activate the CAN communication to our Servo GX again, I have to set dip switch number 5 again to on. And especially if you use your fingers, it can happen that you touch one of the other switches and the communication doesn't work anymore. And the other thing I would question here is, but if you have to constantly switch it on and off again, how long will it last? I mean, there's a tiny mechanic inside only. And it is surely not made to be switched on and off. And this is just what you do with the Seplos BMS, because there are so many parameters in there. Until you have set everything up as you want it, you have to go back and forward quite often. And then someone else sent me an email and said, well, I've got the Seplos BMS sitting on a remote site connected to a computer, and I control all the BMSes with the computer software running on this remote computer there. How am I supposed to access the Master Batteries BMS? And he's absolutely right. There's no way to access this BMS, so you need to go on site, change the dip switch, go into the Master BMS configuration, do all the changes you need to do, and then you have to remember to set the dip switches back as they were. Because otherwise your CAN communication doesn't work either anymore, and you lose connection altogether. And I guess, but this is just a guess, this is one of the reasons they have developed the Bluetooth functionality for their BMSes. Because then, and only then, you can access the configuration of the BMS of the Master battery. But again, you need to be on site. You need to be close to the BMS within 3 to 5 meters to get access via Bluetooth then. If you have a remote site using Seplos BMSes, there's no way to access the Master BMS then. Yeah, of course I contacted Seplos and asked what the hell is going on with this feature. And the reply was, there's currently no way to access the Master battery BMS configuration with a computer. Please use Bluetooth. So, that is all. Well, I'm in the lucky position now that I have a 10E BMS here with Bluetooth, so I can make this one the Master and can have access to the configuration of the BMS via Bluetooth and leave the other one as slave, and then can connect the computer cable directly to the RS485 and read the pack number 1. So in my case this is all working, but if you don't have a BMS with Bluetooth functionality, well, I guess there's no way for you to access that. So then the only way is to change the dip switch configuration constantly. Back and forward until the dip switch breaks. Well, Seplos, I think this feature gets a big not good enough from me. This is unacceptable. You cannot expect that people constantly change their dip switches when they need access to the BMSs, or to make them upgrade to a Bluetooth BMS just because of your design flaw. So I am not happy with this at all. So the only option I have is take out the CAN from the top battery and make the bottom one my Master. Plug this into the CAN port, turn off dip switch number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn on dip switch number 5 for the CAN communication master, and then set the slave battery dip switch number 1 to on. So now I should have access to the small batteries BMS, but not to the big one anymore, but I can use Bluetooth for this one. It's not a good solution. It's not good. It's not good enough, Seplos. Not good enough. I can see in the servo both batteries are online again, and I can see the numbers moving up and down here, so it's live. And here in the computer software I have now access via pack number 1 to our small battery, 135 ampere hours, but not to the big one anymore. So I have to use the Bluetooth functionality if I need to go to the battery configuration of the master battery. And now I lost communication again. Oh, it's reconnecting now, is it? So now I have access to the bottom battery via Bluetooth and can change all the parameters. But as we know, for example, the balance parameters are not the same as in the software, and I cannot really change them here. So there's actually a current bug in the software, and the only way to change these parameters is via the computer software. Okay, so while I am connected to the small battery, I have a look at the configuration here, and I could see that the take the initiative current in limiting charging, take the initiative current limiting charging was activated here as well. I'm not sure if I activated that, but I actually doubt it, because this was one of the parameters we made fun of at the beginning. Because there's no way just by reading the name to know what it actually does, but this is the limit my charge current to 10 amps all the time when this one is activated. It is a test button, as they say. Is it really? Okay, so I have now turned this one off and saved the configuration, and now the BMS seems to work normally, kind of. But we still have the problem that we have 62% state of charge in the small battery and 84% state of charge in the big battery. So, so that's 22% difference, but this might have been caused by the loss of communication we had when I had one of the dip switches set only half, and the problem with that was neither the Seplos nor the Victron system gives you an alarm for that. So if you lose communication, that's it. The battery is still charged and discharged individually, but you don't have the full communication up and running anymore. Yeah, let me quickly reconnect here to the Bluetooth BMS. Failed. Am I too far away here? Connection failed. Okay, I'm right in front. Connection timeout. It's not connecting. I cannot show you anything anymore. You can see here how my frustration is rising with the Seplos BMSes. But so many people wanted me to test them because of the good communication with these BMSes and the Victron system and other inverters and other systems, and the good communication in between. At the moment, I would say they are not there yet. They are not there. It is not working. There are still far too many bugs in it. Alone that we cannot connect to all the BMSes via the computer software anymore, because we are using CAN communication now to the Victron system. Big major design flaw. And something more. In the Victron system, when we go to the 2 online, 0 offline, that's fine. And here all the way down, it gives us 560 ampere hours, 411 ampere hours usable. And this is not even correct here. Installed, we don't have 560 ampere hours installed, because the master battery is a 280 ampere hour rated battery. It thinks, because we have 2 batteries, it's 560. Do I have to do a full discharge test with both batteries so it actually learns what's going on? But then again, what is 411 ampere hours available capacity? Is this according to the state of charge at the moment, or is this what we have calibrated the BMSs to? So is this the maximum available capacity of both batteries, which would be wrong as well? You can see my frustration with these batteries here, right, at the moment. All these settings and configurations, they are not very straightforward, and I need to test this all out myself I've got sometimes the feeling Seplos doesn't know either. Yeah, I guess I'll keep testing then. What else can we do? But I know Seplos is saying do not parallel different batteries, different BMSs together. Are these the problems they are talking about, what we are seeing right now? Maybe it's confused now because I have changed the master from one battery to another battery. So let's keep this in mind and fully charge this battery up now and then do a full discharge and see if it recalibrates somehow. Well guys, okay, I think so far this video for today and the last couple of days I'm mucking around with this shit here. I'm really trying to stay positive here. I really want to give the Seplos BMS a chance because I was thinking to replace all these the Overkill and the JK and the Haltech BMS with Seplos BMSs then and have them communicating correctly to our Victron system here. But at the moment I cannot see this happening. Guys, there's far too much going on with all these settings and behavior is not clear. The reporting is, as you can see, the reporting to the Victron system is somehow messed up. So honestly, at the moment, I am not sure if I would trust the Seplos BMSs to run our battery shelf correctly here. Because I still feel I don't have full control over these batteries and BMSs. The other three, the Overkill, JK and the Haltech, are fine. I know the configuration, I know all the settings, I know how they react, but the Seplos is, at the moment, unpredictable. But I guess more testing is coming, more testing is on the way. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your amazing support, for all your hundreds of comments. I'm far behind with reading and replying because of the Christmas and New Year's holidays. Yeah, Mrs. Andy and I were away a couple of days. You may have noticed the videos were not coming that frequent as usually. But until the next video, you stay charged, stay safe, and thanks again for watching. See you then. Bye bye. Wait before you go. I've just reconfigured the batteries again, so made the top one the master and leave the bottom one as the slave. And look what is reporting now. So the Victron system shows now 270 ampere hours. So the master battery here, the top one with 135 ampere hours times 2, because we've got two batteries connected, 270 ampere hours, right? This is exactly what it reports to the Victron system, but we are still having 411 ampere hours available. So this data is totally messed up. I am not happy with that.